What's up guys, today I'll show you guys how to become a game developer in 2022. Start actually making games and hopefully earn yourself some cash. Making games is a very fun process and is a very good alternative rather than working on a boring desk job for decades. Being a game dev also has its cons, so in this video we'll talk over everything and see whether it's a fit for you. So without further ado, let's get started. To start with your game dev journey, you first need a game engine to start with. A game engine is a software designed for developing games. Usually people would try and make their own game engine. This generally shouldn't be your goal or your main focus, since you should already be utilizing all the best tools which are already there. So the best popular choices are Unity, Unreal Engine, Construct or Godot. Each of these engines have different purposes and their own pros and cons. Choosing the right game engine relies on what type of games you want to make. If your focus is on making simple 2D games and only 2D games, then Construct is your best choice. It is usually used for games like RPGs, 2D MMOs, 2D platformers, etc. But if your main focus is on advanced 2D and 3D games with not a very long learning curve and very easy interface, then Godot is your best bet. I use Godot for making my games since downloading Godot is less than 70 megabytes, which is probably the lowest one here, and the performance is quick. So for broke dudes with potato PCs, Godot is for you. Godot can be better than Construct since it has a better interface and overall has more features. If you really have a fast computer, then Unity is your best bet, since it is used for most mobile games you find on the App Store or Google Play, and also it is very popular in the making of PC games on Steam and other platforms. It is both for 2D and 3D, in some cases even 2.5D. For those who don't know, yes, it does exist, but here is the catch. If you're gonna make over 100k from your game, then you have to pay a license, but other than that it's free. The last engine I'm gonna go over is Unreal Engine. It is used for very big PC and PS4 games like AAA titles like Call of Duty, Fortnite, etc. or Minecraft. I don't recommend this for a lot of people, but if you have a lot of money and time and you don't mind hiring a few people, then it's a good choice. But it's free. Only a 5% license will kick in if you make over $1 million in your game, which might happen. I mean, it's not impossible. Once you have chosen an engine, you will need a drawing tool. A drawing tool will be used to draw the art for a game, obviously. Just like choosing the right game engine, choosing an art tool depends on the type of game you're making and the art style you're going for. The most popular 2D art styles to go for are traditional 2D art, which is basically the normal art which you need a mouse or a drawing tablet to draw, which you can use Photoshop for. Or if it's pixel art, then which is at very low resolutions down to pixels. This is the art style which I use and does not require a drawing tablet. So if you're just using a mouse for this, then it's fine. For this, you can either use Paint.net, Photoshop, GraphicsScale as a good free software, or if you have a budget for a gorgeous looking game and top-end software for pixel art, then use Sprite. But if you're looking for 3D software to model 3D games, 3D models, etc., then Blender would do just that. Now you should have a game engine and a drawing tool. The next step, and this is when you finally start your journey of making games, is to search a tutorial on YouTube about the type of game you wanna make with the engine you have chosen. For me, I searched how to make a 2D game with Godot. The type of game is a 2D game, and the game engine searched is Godot. This is pretty much all you need to do so far. The last step would take a while to explain, so sorry if I don't go over it at every single detail. At this point, once you finish the tutorials and learn the basics of code and made a simple game with the engine you have chosen and the tutorials, all that is left is getting familiar with the drawing software, so you can make your own sprites for that game which you made with using tutorials to learn things like learning to draw the idle pose, walk cycles and animations, and learn to use the art you have drawn to use it in the game engine. Then you will learn how to import images to your game engine, but usually there is a drag and drop feature in some game engines, so life should be easier with some of the game engines out there. And search tutorials on how to draw game art, like game characters, objects, walk cycles, animations, etc. If you're learning pixel art, then a YouTuber called Pixel Pete has excellent tutorials, and a website called Miniboss Pixel Art Tutorials will help you if you're doing pixel art. But I don't know of any other sources to learn other art sources other than the pixel art, so you'll just have to look for them. When you're learning, make sure you're learning not just normal art, learn to make game art, which is actually compatible with making games. Don't just fit in a bunch of normal art which won't really look good in games. That is the key word, game art. All you need to do is import the art you make into the game engine you're using. I know some of the tutorials on YouTube on making games already provide links to the art sources they use in the tutorial, so you don't have to make your own art, but I just suggest you do because it's a learning process. You don't have to shortcut anything, which is why now you will make a game from scratch. Once you are familiar with the art tool, you have previously made a simple game from tutorials from scratch, you will now make a fresh game with the knowledge you've accumulated. Feel free to go back to tutorials if you don't know how to do a certain thing or if you forgot something that you have learned. Click on this video for learning more.